Good morning. Good morning. I was just working on an article, and so I need to finish up. So just don't freak out. Um, we'll get this in order. Um, how are you this morning? Let's get the elephant out of the room early. It is 2:22:22, which I guess I mean it just doesn't seem good, but who knows? I don't. I was seeing stuff about this a couple days ago, and I don't have time for this. Um, this is the second day on the new channel, Deerwood Realty Livestreams, and you know, I don't have anything. I don't have anything against it. It's our 13th consecutive stream in a row. Oh, but right now you can see why I should not be doing computer work when I start a live stream. Okay, now here we go. So how are you? How are you? I have to go check something now because it's not the way I want it. Just a second. Okay, some of my statistics are not right, so it's bothering me. Anyway, you know, I love the stream. I do. I do. Um, I'd like more participation, but again, we got to start from scratch on this channel. Um, and so we will. We will. We will. We will get this done. Um, Yesterday didn't go like I had planned. Towards the end of the day, it didn't go well. So let's put it that way. I did get a text from one of my buyers that said, "Hey, there's a property that's just went pending, so we're not going to be able to see it this next weekend." And my thought to that is like, look, you want to buy a house, okay? You've got to get out there and look at them when they're available. You can't wait for a week to go see a house. Like that doesn't work in any market. Why? Well, one, you want to have the chance to make a decision, one that suits you, that makes sense. So sometimes you'll have offers are due by 5 o'clock on Sunday night. Well, you don't want to be looking at the house for the first time at 4 o'clock on Sunday night. It's just not something you want to be doing. That's a recipe for disaster. So you want to go as soon as possible. The other thing is like there's no requirement that they leave the house for you. You know, there's no requirement that they just say, "Oh, okay, well, you want to see the house? We'll just not sell it, and we'll just wait. We have a really good offer here, but we'll just wait." Now, I have had people, I had agents call me and say, "Hey, John, we got a contract coming in, or we've got a contract that we're looking to accept. If you're going to write, please get it done before this time." And they'll do that before I go on the showing, and I appreciate that. I think that's a professional courtesy that's not required, and I appreciate it. And also, if you're in the business long enough, what happens is you'll go show a house, your buyers are excited, you're ready to write a contract, and then you go call the agent, and you're like, "Hey, I'm ready to write a contract." They're like, "It just went sold," and it really did. They're not messing with you. There's not some sort of secret vendetta against you. They just sold the house. It just happened. And as a buyer's or as a listing agent, you're kind of sad about this because you don't want people to waste their time, especially agents. Like, how the agent's time goes during the day, and you don't want to waste their time. If you got to show one house, at least an hour is gone out of that person's day, and maybe two. Just one house, and that's if the house is close to where the agent lives. So, you don't want to waste anybody's time, but at the same time, you can't you can't tell the people looking at the house that how many offers you have or that you have an offer, unless, of course, you know, as you're asked. But it's not likely. You know, I'll just go over how I do it, and I don't know how anybody other agents do it, and I don't really care. I'm kind of set in my ways. When I go show a house, I usually don't pay attention to the price because that's what the advertised asking price is. It really has, I mean, what do I care what they're asking versus what the market says I should be spending? That's either high or low. So don't do a whole lot of comps ahead of time. Now you say, well, why are you wasting your time if the house is too expensive? Well, I don't know that it's too expensive. I know that my buyers think it's too expensive. We have to go see the house first. We go see the house. So they say we're interested. I go run some comps. I said, this is where our offer should be. And this is what I'm thinking. That's how I do it. Now, some people may go and tell their buyers, well, that house is too expensive. That house is too cheap. Usually you'll never see a house that's too cheap because if there is one, 50 other people know that it's too cheap and they all run out there to try and buy it. So that's how I look at that. Now, for them, they're new. They don't know any better, and we just learn over time. We work over time to get to where we need to get to. Now, let's talk about some cleanup duties on the streams. Okay, one of the issues that I have with the stream right now is that it's new. I don't know if I like where my microphone level is, and I don't know how to change it right now. That's a problem. Number two, something weird was happening yesterday where my hard drive was disconnecting from my computer, and I save all the videos on the computer hard drive. So it would make this noise and then it would stop. Now this could happen, okay, during our live stream. It could happen during one of my videos this afternoon, one of the podcasts. It is what it is. I'm not happy about it. I'm frightened. But there's not a whole lot I can do about it today. I bought something new on Amazon. I bought an expansion port for this. And I'm hopeful it's supposed to get here on Sunday. So that means Monday of next week will be good to go. I hope. Now, one of the problems right now is that has kind of been eliminated is yesterday I could not move my mouse at all. It was just freezing up everywhere. Today that hasn't happened. I'm thankful for that because I went and looked at all the settings on last night and I didn't see anything that I was going to be able to change that made any sense. So those are the things stream wise that are concerning. Now we might as well talk about it. Look, I want to be involved with the chat. I want to spend at least a half hour of the time talking to the people in chat and going over what their concerns are with real estate and things of that nature. It hasn't happened yet, and I still have the subscriber on function. We're going to need more viewers, and then we're going to need people that subscribe so that we can talk. That's just the way it is. Now, you say, well, John, why should I have to subscribe to chat? Well, you can watch without subscribing. There's nothing keeping you from doing that. The real issue that I have right now is I can't allow, I can. I don't mind if I get spam comments, I get spam comments, but it's going to be after you made a subscription, after you subscribe to the channel. And obviously you don't have to pay for that or anything like that. Just subscribe, then make your comments. And then if you're a Russian spam, just leave after that. It's fine. But give me the joy of having subscribers and not the joy of spam clogging up the chat. So day 2, so far, I feel pretty good. We'll never know if it was the right decision to move the live stream off of Deerwood Realty. If I had to do it over again, would I do something different? I don't know. Deerwood Realty is just like, it's a part of me. I feel like maybe the listing should be on its own platform. I feel like, the podcast should be on its own platform. The podcast has a website. I just don't have it done. Oddly enough, I'm busy running around doing 15 other things, and I don't get. I understand the website stuff pretty well, but I don't get to it because I'm doing 15 other things. And obviously, I need to sit down one day and just do it. So, anyway, what else do I have for you? We'll be showing houses this weekend pretty heavily. I know that. The weather in St. Louis is bizarre. It's been 65 degrees the last 2 days and sunny. It's supposed to snow on Thursday. Yeah, that will screw up the weekend showings. But that's it. That's it. I had one of my cousins was going to come down and visit me and look at my live stream setup. It's not going to work out today. But I guess where I'm at on helping out. I'm 44 years old. No one really helps me very much. Like, I always have to do things myself. I don't know if it's because I don't ever ask or if it's because I just don't have it in me to say like, hey, I need help. Now I've asked the chat for help, but there's nobody in chat. So they haven't been very helpful at all. But my cousin's like, hey, I'd like to learn more about this. Now, if he starts a podcast, if he starts a live stream and he just does way better than I do, am I going to be upset? Absolutely not. How many millions of people are trying the chat, and how many millions of people are trying to stream and do podcasts? I mean, it's got to be a ridiculous number. I mean, you see people do it online, and you're like, "Hey, this is easy. Hey, I can talk." And when I do it, I'll tell you, it's a lot more difficult than I ever thought it would be. And as far as like breaking through, it's terrible, terrible. The amount of time you spend, and I watched some of these YouTubers, like they had regular jobs and then they would do the YouTube on the side. And then somehow it worked out so that they had enough time to do more work. And so they took over YouTube and they did it full time. And then they're like instead of working 40 hours a week, they're working like 90 hours a week. And you say, well, they're doing the things they love. I don't know. Like the car channels I watch, those guys are not only are they filming the videos, they got to order parts and then they got to edit the videos, and that's a long day. I want to start my live stream about employment, the nature of employment. I haven't gotten that far. I'm sorry. It's more things to do than I have time for every day. And anyway, I'm in the same boat though. It's like add another live stream. You've already got a live stream. Why don't you just and then the issue is content. People that like real estate aren't necessarily going to like employment. Okay. They may not want to have anything to do with employment. So it's just one of those things where we're going to take it as it comes and go from there. Let's see. Do I have anything else before I get started? Let me look. I think I wrote, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. I think this is reasonable. And I want to use it in the context of I'm not going to call it advertising. I wrote it down on my phone because that's what I have to do if I'm doing something. And I'm not. Oh yes. Wow. Fantastic. I have to do something. I'll do that in a second. Let me go there. Don't freak out. I gotta do this. It's very relevant to what we've talked about in the past couple months. Okay. Let me just see here. I have to go somewhere where I can get the article for you. Great. Okay, good. This will be good. I'm excited to talk about this. I just noticed I screwed some things up, though. Or this is going to be one of those days, isn't it? I feel like I know why things are not going like they should, but I'm not going to talk about it. Not going to talk about it. Here first, that over here, like so. Take this, copy. We've got a full show if I get everything done today, for sure. Do you remember that time that guy wrote and he's like, "You're the worst live streamer ever" on my chat? Remember how bad it hurt my feelings? And like, I was like, well, I better not ever do live streaming again because a guy didn't like it. Some rando just types that he hates me. Well, I've gotten over that. I went to therapy and everything's good. So, all right, much better. Everything's in much better shape. So, I wanted to talk about a phenomenon that I wanted to know if it works this way for you. There's a YouTuber. His name is Viva Fry, David Freiheit. But anyway, that's his. Is that nom de jour? Anyway, nice Canadian fellow from Quebec, speaks French, pretty cool. Going through some things over in his world. He was a YouTuber and he ended up, he would report things as he saw them in the news, and then like at some point in time he figured out the news is just really, really terrible. Like terrible. The journalism is not good. And so then there's been this slow descent from like a very happy, wonderful man to just like kind of jaded and bitter. And anyway, like so I think I've been watching his streams for like 2 years now. So you almost like you feel like you know the person, okay? You have this feeling like, hey, this is my friend, and that's honestly, I would hope to build the same thing with my Deerwood Realty live stream. I mean, I'm not good at friendships per se, like having like a lot of friends. I'm not somebody that needs that, but I feel like if we have this thing set up right, it'll be like that, and that would be great for me and hopefully great for you too. But anyway, he ran for office and just got stomped. Okay, he just got stomped, and he says it's because of the political machine. I don't know if it's because of the political machine, but it's just bad. He really thought that he had a chance to win, and then I felt bad for him. So I mean, like now we're going through this man's life, the ups and the downs. Okay, and so I don't know if you noticed about Canada, but they're having some issues. They're having some issues, and so he has been going and live streaming the protests in Ottawa. Okay, this is what I wanted to try to explore is I get nervous for the guy when he goes to these protests. Like I literally sit here and I'm like, don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. The police have said that you can't be there. And, the other day there was like a sound grenade or something went off. And you see these other videos of it's about the person's health, but then they're just kneeing the guy in the chest. And then they're running horses over people. I mean, this doesn't seem to be about health anymore. This has gotten out of hand. And here I've got my little friend. I say little. I don't know if my understanding he's not very tall, but I didn't mean it in a negative way. But I've got this friend that I've met through the YouTube. I've never spoken with him or anything like that. But now he's out there in this terrible situation where people are being, like I said, run over by horses, and the police are all like, they've got their uniforms and they've got their badges and stuff all blacked out. I mean, it's really, They fired the police chief, or the police chief's like, I'm not doing this, and so he resigned. And then they brought in another guy, and he's like, oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's like, this is bad. So anyway, the feeling, I feel bad for this guy. I feel nervous for this fellow. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. But I think about it in this sense, like how bad of a person am I, where I will think terrible, like I will have worries for this fellow, but there's probably 1,000 other truckers out there that are going to get it worse. They're just like nameless and faceless people. And it's weird how like your brain works. Okay. If somebody else gets shot, you're like, wasn't me, you know, and especially if you didn't know him. Oh, well, it's terrible. You know, I mean, you have the right response, right? But it doesn't mean anything to you. And so this closeness, that's what makes these, like what I would call the social media sphere, so what I would say maybe dangerous, so difficult to navigate through. You know people through their personas, okay? So like I've tried to put forth who I am on the live stream. I've tried to put forth who I am on the podcast. But, you know, right now with the 3 people that are watching my live stream on average, I don't feel like I've really built this huge credit to where people are going to care if I drive off of a bridge tomorrow. I don't think that anybody's, and that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm not looking for you to care when something goes bad. I'm just trying to relate to you that I'm a person and you're a person, and we should care when something bad happens to people. Doesn't matter what side they're on. Although I have very little sympathy for the Ottawa Police Department at this point. I have none. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But like, did the world start going haywire today, or has it been going haywire for a long time? And it's just like people are just catching up. I was talking to my wife. She's from the former Yugoslavia, and one of the bigger arguments for Russia. Now this is way out of my wheelhouse, but the argument that Russia could recognize these 2 breakaway republics in the Ukraine is that NATO recognized the breakaway Republic of Kosovo during the Yugoslavia excitement. Now, I am not, Yugoslavia, not an expert. This is just what I read, okay? I know there's people out there that live Yugoslavia daily, and I get it, okay? I get that you live it daily. I'm just saying, using NATO, now, Yugoslavia is 1990s, mid-90s. I was going to high school. A decision that far ago, that long ago, is still having repercussions in the world political stage. I mean, you know, these actions have consequences. The more we do stupid things now, the worse it gets later. Some people say that's okay. You know, what difference does it make? Fix the problem now, and then down the road, whenever things go south, you know, let somebody else deal with that. And I feel like, you know, in a large part, that's what's happened to the world is, you know, we're so committed to right now, you know, right now. Don't look in the future. Political expediency rules the day. And it just makes for bad situations in the future. Now, I say bad situation. I don't know anything about the history of Ukraine, the history of the breakaway republics. I don't know if Russia's doing anything wrong. I don't know if Russia's doing anything right. I have no idea. I have no opinion whatsoever. But I will say it's fascinating to see people drag up stuff from 20 years ago and use it in a different context for a new conflict, should there be one. I don't. And again, the whole thing, I don't want anybody to lose their life for any reason. It's terrible. So, that being said, I wanted to go over something. Let me get it in order here. You know, we've talked about this girl that was the Russian skater. and she didn't win, but she had taken some medicine or some performance enhancer, which we read about. We're not quite sure if it was a performance enhancer or not. It's thought to be. It's on the list. And so then I was saying, look, this happens all the time in sport. Like, why are you singling out this situation? Why is this a big deal? And what they came up with was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Is they're like, okay, if this woman wins, we won't have a ceremony. Okay. But if she doesn't win, we'll have a ceremony. And look, the goal is you win the medal, you have your ceremony, and you're done. There was a kiss and cry area that I've learned about, and I'm like, what is this? Why did we do this? But anyway, how do I make this transition? Okay, here we go. Have you ever heard about horse racing? Yeah, they've been doing it for like 100 years. And there's the Kentucky Derby, and that's like the biggest horse race. Now, I'm telling you it's not. I know you're not dumb, but I'm just trying to set some sort of foundation, okay? And I would say that the Kentucky Derby, in my opinion, is the biggest of the horse races. It is the Olympics of the horse racing world. Except in horse racing, it happens every year, whereas the Olympics apparently every 4 years. But it's really every 2 years because there's a winter and summer Olympics, I think. And they're spaced by 2 years. And so you just get inundated with Olympics, basically. But I wanted you to see this article. I thought it was relevant. Here we go. Hit the button. Medina Spirit stripped of Kentucky Derby victory. Now, what is this you say? How the horse won the race. They had their kiss and cry area. They had a podium for the horse. And now you're saying it's February 21st. This happened just yesterday, which seems like it was a week ago. But anyway, let's look into this. It says Medina Spirit was stripped of victory in last year's Kentucky Derby, and Mandaloun, I'm guessing, was declared the winner after a ruling by state racing stewards on Monday. Okay, racing stewards. Never heard of it. I've heard of judges, I've heard of arbiters, but racing stewards? The since deceased Medina, did anybody know that Medina Spirit died? I would have thought that was bigger news. Tested positive after the race last May for a steroid, betamethasone, that is legal in Kentucky but banned on race day. See, that's no offense, but this is why I get confused. Okay? How is it that it's okay to have a steroid for every day except the one that you're racing? It just seems a little, I don't know. I don't know the word. It says, and again, I feel bad that the horse Kentucky Derby winner is dead. I mean, that's not good. But it says Medina Spirit finished a half length ahead of Mandaloun in the race, giving trainer Bob Baffert what was then his seventh Kentucky Derby title. Baffert was subsequently banned for 2 years by Churchill Downs following the positive test. So I don't understand, like, is this the appeal? They appealed and it took until now to determine. It says Monday's decision by the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission. There's a horse racing makes Medina Spirit the second horse in the 146-year history of the race to be disqualified for a banned substance. The first was Dancer's Image in 1968, a decision that gave Forward past the victory. Now, I suspect, I'm not an expert on horse lives, but I suspect that Dancer's Image has been dead for, quite some time. The only other disqualification was in 2019 when Maximum Security was penalized because of interference. I don't even remember that. It's 2022. I do not remember the disqualification for Maximum Security. That's the name of a horse, not some sort of what you would think it would be, which would be Maximum Security. Anyway, following the announcement by the racing stewards, Churchill Downs issued a statement declaring Mandaloun the Kentucky Derby winner. Mandaloun's owners will receive the $1.8 million winner's purse. Now is Is Mandaloon still alive? The Racing Commission also suspended Baffert for 90 days and fined him $7,500 on Monday. But I think he's been banned for 2 years. So now is it 2 years and 90 days, or is this time served? I mean, I don't understand the intricacies of the horse racing community, but it seems like he's really getting the book thrown at him. Medina Spirits collapsed and died on December 6th of a heart attack following a training run at Santa Anita less than a month after finishing second in the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar. Well, I mean, so why did you read that, John? That's a good question. That's a fair question. Well, I read it because it's not unusual for you to have like retroactive winners. I think I'm not trying to be mean, but I believe that the Penn State football situation, where I believe some victories were abdicated, or I don't know the right word, but they've been taken away, and so Joe Paterno was no longer the most winningest football coach in history. It's very odd how the world works in this case, like a retroactive removal of a great moment. Somehow you're supposed to forget it, like it never happened. But had this girl won, and by the way, I don't want you to think that she apparently didn't perform very well that day. But had she won, and they gave her the podium and everything, and the McDonald's sponsorships as well as Coca-Cola, and then a year later said, "Hey, wait a minute, maybe that test was enough to not let you be the winner." I don't know what to think of that. I just know that it's happened so often in all sports that I'm not surprised by any sort of. And by the way, if you're a competitor, the best thing you can do is allege someone else is cheating. It's why politics is so fascinating. It's like they don't understand the same rules apply in sports as they do kind of everywhere else as far as accusations. If you accuse someone of doing something, of doing harm as a politician, then they're on the defensive. It may or may not be true, but what difference does it make? You've managed to trip them up. So let's just take our little shot at politicians today. Democrats, when they believe something, okay, they just do it. The law means nothing to them. They will do what they need to do, and then they will wait for the law to catch up with them. And then Republicans will say to the Democrats, "Hey, you can't do that. That's against the law." And they'll say, "Okay, well, I'm sorry that it's against the law. We'll just see what happens down the road." And then hopefully the courts will side in the favor of the Democrats. Republicans are so feckless. They're so, as a group, unbelievably bad at doing anything. They're always responding. They're never setting the table. They're never going out and doing something right. They just sit there and react. They do the same thing over and over. If you're on NBC News and you're a Republican, you really need to check out the logic in 2022. Okay, these are people that hate you. NBC hate you, can't stand you. They won't even invite you to the Georgetown parties. Okay, they really, really don't like you, and you're out there trying to defend yourself on that platform. So, and you have to give credence to the Democrats for what they do. It's quite impressive. And then in the same sense, I'm going to relay this back to horse racing or anything else. If Bob Baffert skirted the rules to win, okay, he's basically a Democrat in this situation. He did what he was supposed to do. Now, the Republicans come back a year later and say, "Hey, you kind of cheated. We're going to take that back." But what difference does it make? I mean, he's still celebrated as the winner of the Kentucky Derby. You think 10 years from now, people are going to remember Bob Baffert was suspended for cheating? No, he's going to go and he's going to sit there and he's going to figure out a way to do better. That's my politics for that. That's why I'm North. Both parties are terrible. Don't be part of a party. Think for yourselves. Think for yourselves and vote your conscience. That was my politics for the day. Now, that being said, let's move on. I mean, that was a great article. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't want to do who's beating me in live streaming right now because I don't think it's fair. I just started the channel. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow it'll be fair. But today, no. What I wanted to, this is a Google search. We have 2 articles for Google search today, so we're really going here. It's not funny. This is not a funny story to me. This is a story like maybe more of a public interest, hey, watch out type thing. Teen's legs and fingers amputated after eating takeout leftovers. Now that doesn't sound good at all. Again, not trying to play it straight here, not making jokes. It says in Boston, a 19-year-old's harrowing medical story, the one where eating takeout leftovers led to limb amputation, is making headlines after a recent explainer YouTube video went viral. Now, none of my videos go viral on YouTube. The most I've ever had, I think, is 2,300 views. And I mean, at this point, it's just kind of fun to play. The man, who was identified only as JC when his case was shared in the New England Journal of Medicine last March, reportedly had eaten some leftover rice, chicken, and noodles when he started to feel sick. Now, I don't know about the explainer. I don't know if this fellow is in the explainer. I don't know anything about it, but we got 100,000 plus searches about this. I did not search it because I didn't know anything about it. I don't know. By the way, don't you think it's easier, like if you want to know what's going on in search, isn't it just easier to go and see what's going on in search versus trying to search for stuff you have no idea what's going on? I don't know. Following vomiting, stomach pain, and purpling skin. Purpling skin. The teen's friend, who was also thrown up after eating the leftover restaurant meal, took JC to a nearby hospital emergency room. He was admitted there complaining of severe muscle pains. Good for him. Like myself, like if I'm feeling injured, if I'm feeling sick or I'm feeling like something's wrong with me, I typically will sit and just deal with it. I won't go to the doctor. The only time I'll go to the doctor is when I'm like near death. Sometimes that's too late. When the man was finally airlifted to the pediatric ICU at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, he was reportedly experiencing shock, multiple organ failure, and severe molted-looking rash, which took over most of his body. At that point, he was 20 hours into his sickness and had temperature over 105 degrees Fahrenheit and had a heart rate of 166 beats per minute. I don't know the stats on that. Like, I always come in low on my temperature. Like, I think everybody varies now. They've kind of, but I always was disappointed that mine was low. I think I'm at like 96 or 97, where most people are supposed to be like 98.1 was what I was taught. With necrosis and gangrene eventually creeping in, decisions had to be made. Doctors reportedly chose to amputate both legs, but not the knees and parts of all fingers. JC, who had reportedly had all of his childhood vaccinations and was relatively healthy, was diagnosed with purpura fulminans due to meningococemia. He'd been staying with a friend for 5 days, but lived with his mom and brother in northern New England, working part-time at a restaurant. It was later learned that JC had not received all of his meningococcal vaccinations. The patient had a relatively good recovery, according to the medical journal report, considering the seriousness of the sickness. The U.S. Department of Agriculture recommends properly storing your leftover food in a refrigerator or freezer, and then cooking food to a high enough temperature to avoid ingesting bacteria, which can be tasteless and odorless. Now, I'd seen in another story, they're like, after 3 days, let it go. Like, stop trying to eat it. I'm just relaying that information. I don't know if that's true or not. I typically, on pizza, it's a day rule. I love leftover pizza, but I'll only eat it the next day. Because anytime after that, it's not really what I want to be doing. I hate leftovers. I don't like to eat them. So this isn't something that would really cause problems with me. But I wanted to share it because 100,000 searches, and this poor fellow, 19 years old, no legs, or like to his knees, and then no fingertips. Overeating like noodles. All right. Now, here's the next one. 50,000 searches on this. I thought this would be a lot of fun. How many of you know the PBS kids show Arthur? Did you raise your hand? Because I wouldn't have. I've never heard of it. 50,000 searches on this. PBS kids show Arthur comes to an end after 25 seasons. I wasn't even aware that it existed. Okay. Tampa, Florida, the iconic children's show Arthur, which it's iconic, and I don't even know about it, which airs on PBS Kids, came to an end on Monday after 25 seasons. Screenwriter Kathy Waugh first revealed that PBS Kids planned to bring the iconic children's series to a close during an interview on Finding DW podcast over the summer. Now, I don't know what Finding DW podcast is. I'm sure it's a wonderful show, podcast. Arthur is no longer in production. We had our wrap party 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And now you're just getting to the final episode? I think PBS made a mistake, and I think Arthur should come back. And I know I'm not alone in thinking that they made a mistake. I don't know if it was a ratings issue or if it felt like it needed to be retired. I mean, I didn't even know it existed. To me, it felt like evergreen, like it was never going to end, but it did end. We finished the last episode, season 25, 2 years ago. Now, to me, if I were ever, like, I'm not in charge, okay? But if I were ever, like, if anybody said, hey, John, how do you want to, like, let's say you want to make a lot of money. I want to make a lot of money by making a cartoon, because if you can do a cartoon, people never get older, okay? Now, the voice actors will strike at some point in time and demand more money, more benefits. But really, I mean, you can kind of get rid of the voice actors, I suspect, after time, if you really try hard enough. Anyway, you know, you can't, like, my point is like Jason Bateman. No, that was O'Connell, Jerry O'Connell. He was in this My Secret Identity or something. I don't remember what it was. It was this robot. Okay, and it doesn't really make any sense. Now, his sister was a robot. I don't even remember the whole concept. I'm blanking on it. But anyway, that was like 30 years ago. They've grown up. You can't make a kid look like a teen when they're in their 30s. It's just not. It doesn't go well. So that's why you use a cartoon. Anyway, Arthur, like this, we're going to learn about this now. Arthur features an animated aardvark of the same name and the lessons he learns about kindness, empathy, and inclusion from friends and family while growing up in the fictional Elwood City. I don't really care about, I mean, really, this doesn't seem like it's on PBS Kids, so it's like not, it's not in my, like, it's not what I spend my time on. The show, which debuted in 1996, is the longest running animated children's TV series in U.S. history. Okay. It has won 4 daytime Emmys for Outstanding Children's Animated Program, as well as a Peabody Award. But fear not, if you missed the final showing day, you can now find the full episode on PBS's YouTube channel. Reruns of the show are available on PBS Kids, and future content was teased this evening on the Arthur PBS Twitter page. There's an Arthur PBS Twitter page. I didn't know about it. I didn't even know about Arthur. If you all know about Arthur, you know, put that in the chat. I had no idea. And let me say this, and this is going to sound terrible. I mean, the bar for television shows, I mean, this has won all kinds of awards. Is it real tough to get an Emmy Award for a children's series? I mean, it doesn't seem like, I don't know that there's that many contenders. I mean, pretty much, isn't all PBS Kids just your competition? It's just one channel. I don't know. I'm showing my ignorance, but I'm wearing it on my sleeve so you can see it. I don't know a lot about Arthur the Aardvark. Let's look at some houses. Greensboro, North Carolina. Now, I did that accent there. I did that I don't know if that's the proper accent, but I like to do an accent every once in a while, and Greensboro just to me leads to that type of work. The first house, $6.5 million, 6 bedrooms, 7.5 baths on a 3-acre lot. And they look, it's $1 million less today than it was yesterday. 42 pictures. Built in 1937, 4-car garage, 200 days on the market, and that's it. It's really true, which is nice. So let's take a look. So if I were ever going to list a house for $6.5 million, I would list the front of the house first. That makes sense to me. Now this is the back of the house. I don't know if I'd have gone. That's a racy idea. Okay, now we're going inside, and now we've got a pool house, I suspect. There's your garage. I don't even know what that is. I guess this is the country club. Oh, here we go. Now we're right inside. That's kind of cool. There's a little eagle on the ground. There's I don't know. It's fascinating. How many square feet is this? It doesn't say. Let's look down here in the property details and see. Built in 1937 by the founder of Burlington Industries, this magnificent Georgian has remained an icon of the old Irving Park neighborhood, sited on over 3 acres. In the late 90s, the house underwent a total renovation by the present owner. We're not doing square feet, though. I don't know. I'm going to have to cough. Sorry about that. It had been brewing for 20 minutes. I kept trying to take a drink, thought that would work. I don't know. Not having square footage is tough for me because I mean I like to know what I'm getting into. That's a cool look, right? I don't know, $6.5 million. I'm not real excited. And then because these other houses are so much less, so 1.883 million, 108 days on the market, built in 2002, 8-car garage. Let's look at the property history. Sold in 2019, listed in 2021. That's okay. Property details. Custom home with serene lake settings in an exclusive dated neighborhood of Northern Shores Estates and Lake Jeanette. Chef's kitchen with Wolf double oven and gas cooktop with custom vent hood and gourmet island. ML master suite. Main level, I think is what they're going with. Has a luxury bath with heated floors. Isn't Hertz commodes. Oh my God. I didn't know that was even possible. I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully they'll show a picture. And a huge walk-in closet with direct access to main laundry. Massive second floor is perfect for young family members with 2 bedrooms, bonus abundant storage plus a second laundry, and a 3rd bedroom separate private office area with a private bath. Amazing lower level walkout basement includes another bedroom, gym, kitchen, theater and rec area with fireplace, the perfect in-law suite, 3-car garage on main level, 5-bay car enthusiast garage or indoor basketball court on lower level. It's either a garage or a basketball court. Perfectly landscaped with fountain and porch. Incredible views, lakefront, bring your canoe. This home has all the spaces you need to entertain, work from home, or relax with 3 levels of living spaces, 7 bedrooms, 6 full baths, 3 half baths, nearly 11,000 square feet. See agent only, prior day notice. I don't know what that means. Well, what would you do? Go talk to the owner? Is that what you would do? That's really, I don't like that move. That's a jerk. The jerk move. Shouldn't do it. Let's take a look at the pictures. So 50 pictures, I'm good with that. There's the lake. Now, you know, some of those places in Florida, they actually have the, they have the line, so we know exactly what we're dealing with. There's the front. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Dee Cunningham. That's the agent. She's with Keller Williams Realty 1. She showed us the door, and we're in the first 10 pictures, and the walking in the door. Now, I appreciate that. Yeah. That's a nice bedroom. Nice size. I would like a nice sized bedroom in my life once just to see what it's like. So we got some of the furniture. I mean, some of it's missing. So I don't, this might be the bathroom with the his and hers, but I don't know. Yeah, perfectly manicured. I believe that. I think that's a fake dog. They got washing machines now in 2 different places. I'm not complaining, but as a fellow with no hair, boy, if you hit those edges, it really hurts. That's not a real person right there. So what I would say about this is it's kind of empty. There's your theater room. There's like a music room. I think this is the garage. Yeah. Kind of interesting. I would like a lift. I'm not going to lie. I'd like a car lift. All right, so that's that one. I don't know what this picture's about here. I don't know if that's the water. I don't know what's going on. One more. I like the way this one looks. That's why we got it. It's 1.789 million. 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths on a 0.7 acre lot. I mean, it's not a big house. 46 pictures, built in 1925, been on the market, 5-car garage, been on the market 182 days. And it's been on the market for longer than that. It seems like it's been listed since, been listed a long time. That's why I don't do luxury homes, because I just don't have the patience. I mean, here's a house. We're not going to change the price. We're not going to do anything with it. We're just going to leave it on the market forever. When the listing expires, we'll just put it back on. You know, this house has been empty for quite some time. It's just, what do we got for the description? For over 96 years, the former Haywood Duke home has boasted one of the finest views of the GCC golf course. Enjoying both front and back fairways, a stately Georgian with a well-done addition featuring a copper roof is now recently renovated kitchen, morning room, and breakfast area on the main floor. Master bath renovations plus additional bathroom updates bring this house into the 2020s. Backstairs now lead to a private bedroom suite, grand foyer, formal living and dining rooms, extraordinary family room, all add to the glamour of this well-known house in Greensboro's Old Irving Park neighborhood. Gazebo, outdoor terrace, 5-car garage, and more than abundant storage. Embrace the old and love the new. Well, people are not doing that. It appears that they're not interested in it at all, and haven't been for some time. I'm struck by how white the walls are, like everywhere. It's got a wine cellar. It's got a bathroom that's very small. I mean, that's a cool gazebo. No one's going to argue that. I'm sad that this house isn't selling. I think it looks great, but it isn't selling, so we'll have to move on. All right. All right. Let's go and look at an article. I don't know how many we're going to get to today because it's getting to be kind of late. Alternatives to buyer love letters. Now, you know that I am a real estate agent. I'm a real estate broker, and I think that love letters are very, very good, and we should use them. And the idea that they're somehow a violation of fair housing laws, that's ridiculous, because people have Facebook now. So like whenever you write an offer and you put your name on the thing, they just look you up on Facebook. And if you're not on Facebook, good for you. So many people are. But they will look at you, and if they want to be racist or sexist or any sort of ist, they will do that privately. Okay. The fact that you wrote a love letter isn't going to keep them from being a racist. And that's my main point of how stupid it is. Because if you're representing the buyer, you want an opportunity to win the deal, okay? If there's two offers and they're the exact same price, one has a love letter, one doesn't, you know who's getting the offer. You know who's going to get the accepted offer. It's going to be the love letter. Okay, except for these people that have decided that this is terrible and really, really bad, and you shouldn't. I think those people have all lost because of love letters. I think every single one of them have been on a deal where they've lost, and they're like, oh, if I only would have been not written that other people wouldn't have written that love letter, my buyers would have gotten the house. And so sour grapes, I'm going to try to ban it throughout the United States, the practice. You should look inward. Accept that you failed. Move on. Stop forcing other people into your situation. But first of all, there's no alternatives to buyer love letters. Okay? That's the point. They differentiate your offer from someone else's. The love letters. In today's raging hot market with extremely low inventory and bidding wars becoming the new normal, it's almost become a necessity for prospective buyers to include a love letter in their offer package to sellers. That's correct. These love letters are written to essentially attract the seller's attention and explain the many reasons why they should pick you as the buyer. 100%. 100%. As the love letters become more popular, there's also more warning signs being thrown up. National Association of Realtors warns that sending love letters could open real estate professionals and their clients up to fair housing violations. Well, then the National Association should take all the money that we spend for their programs, okay, and their lobbying, and go fix it. Stop telling us how to do our business. Go fix it. Go make a law that says we can write a buyer love letter and it's not in any way a violation of fair housing. You have the power. Go fix it. And by the way, advocate on behalf of the agents, not on behalf of anybody else in that situation. In fact, last year, Oregon was the first state to ban buyer love letters. Totally a mistake and misguided. There are, however, alternatives you can advise your clients to consider in order to get a leg up on the competition. Sorry, I got a text. And now I got to go back. Okay. It says we did that. Money. So if you can't write a love letter, just add more money. Adding things to a love letter like photos of your clients and pets is a novel approach, but that'll likely have a negligible effect on the seller. At the end of the day, money talks. The best alternative to a love letter is cash. It's true, but now you're spending more money rather than just writing a letter. So how does that help the consumer? Be sure to always advise your buyers to make the highest offer that they are personally comfortable with, not the number they think will be the highest. Yeah, there is a difference there. There's a distinction. I would never tell somebody to buy a house that'll be the highest just to buy it. But whatever offer they're comfortable with. That's a very nuanced article. An alternative to this would be an all-cash offer. Of course, making an all-cash offer is not possible for most buyers. And if another buyer can offer all cash, then there'll likely be buyers who end up purchasing that particular property. However, there's a lot of howevers in there. There are other avenues you can advise your clients to take, including companies like Ribbon, Knock, and Fly Homes that can lend them money to make an all-cash offer. That's stupid, though. That's stupid. If the sellers are requiring you to make an all-cash offer, then just move on. There's no reason to use someone else. Ribbon, Knock, and Fly Homes aren't going to do it for free. Waive contingencies. Yes. Instead of writing a love letter, which is simple and innocent, I'm just going to say, hey, you know what? We'll do it with no inspections. How about that? In the current competitive market that's already full of contingencies, a great alternative is sending a love letter to the sellers is to waive one of the two of these contingencies and reduce the burden on them. Removing the financing contingency or the appraisal contingency can do a lot more to make your buyer's offer more attractive compared to sending a love letter. During the height of the pandemic, many buyers even waived inspection contingencies, although this is never recommended and should only be considered by experienced homeowners. This is bull hockey. Send the buyer a love letter. Don't waive contingencies. Tighten the terms. Another excellent way for buyers to increase their chances of winning an offer is to tighten their terms. If it's possible to reduce the timeline from when you submit their offer package to closing, your client's offer will be much more enticing to sellers. Some tactics for doing this is to shorten the length of the escrow period as well as getting the loan pre-underwritten so that you can remove the finance contingency completely. Use an escalation clause. Well, who's not using an escalation clause? That's ridiculous. Sellers agents are usually tight-lipped when it comes to the exact number of offers. It's true. I'll say I have more than one offer, and the highest offer their clients have received. An underused tactic you can use to make your buyer's offer package more exciting to the sellers is an escalation clause. That's not true. We all use it all the time. It's not unused. This clause states the offer, but adds that they will beat any higher offers that are presented in the amount you specify. The clause is incredibly useful because it gives your clients the opportunity to present the highest offer. However, be sure to advise your clients they should cap their escalation clause at the highest sum they are willing and able to pay. I agree with that. When people list their house and they say they don't want an escalation clause, I tell them that they're just not my friends. Not my friends. Build rapport. Lastly, this step falls on you as the real estate professional. Building rapport with the seller's agent is critical when it comes to increasing your client's chances of nailing that offer. Not really. Not really. I'm just telling you. I mean, if you're in a multi-offer situation, somebody writes a buyer's love letter and they're the same offers and somebody doesn't, the buyer love letter gets the house. If someone offers more cash than the buyer's love letter, probably going to get the house, but not always. Buyer's love letter is worth money. Naturally, the longer you're in the industry, the more connections, relationships you'll make with other agents. But there are new agents entering this industry every day. There were 23,000 agents that entered the market in Missouri last year. And you need to be able to build rapport with other professionals in a short period of time. This is a vital skill for any agent. Also not helpful in getting the house unless the seller's agent decides to kind of breach their ethics, tell you things that they're not supposed to. I mean, I'm just saying. Although love letters are endearing and can have a very real impact on a seller's decision when choosing an offer, the suggestions listed above are more actionable steps that you and your buyer can take to ease the stressful home buying process. Well, I mean, you know, whatever. I think you should just be able to write a homeowner's love letter, a home buyer love letter, and be done with it. I mean, this is what I think. And I hope that the law in Oregon gets shot up so badly that they never, ever, ever come up with the idea to do such a stupid thing again. If you need me to tell you how I really feel, because you haven't figured it out yet, I don't even know what to tell you. It's ridiculous. No buyer love letter. All right, that's what I've got. That's what I got. Is it perfect? No. No, it's not. It is what it is. I don't think I'll do any more today. I think I'll cut the stream short. We had one other article. I'll probably have to change the title now in the description of the video or in the title of the video. But you know what? I don't want to keep you guys to do too much. You've got work to do today. You got to get out there and make money and all that stuff. With that, I'm going to head out. I just want to say thanks for coming over to the new channel. Thanks for working with me to get it off the ground. Now we've got it, and this is where we'll be for the rest of my time live streaming on YouTube. With that, I'm going to head out. I don't have a good exit, so I'll just go with this one.